Schedule a free design consultation, and the more you buy, the more you'll save on blinds, shades, shutters, and more from Budget Blinds. Visit budgetblinds.com today.
All right, Jessamine Moses thought he got rid of me for good. I come back to fill in for Bart.
It's like, you know, Seinfeld with Newman. It's just appropriate because it starts with Newman. You just got me. How's it going?
I'm good.
Excellent.
And nice to be back. It is, actually. All right, let's turn our attention to sports. This is what people want to see. And of course, you know, the saying goes, better late than never. And I guess that could ring true for the Foremost Tee.
You know, they originally scheduled their skills competition for last week, but after being trounced 6-0 by St. Albert, Coach Sean Coulter was like, not today, boys. We have to get better before the competition. We have. And you know what? Sure enough, they did. The athletes were judged on 4 categories: shot accuracy, stick and puck handling, fastest skater, and hardest shot.
It was meant to get the boys together, to get them, to get their spirits up, to build team camaraderie, and just to get them in sync again.
Jackson Oates was the fastest of the group, and it seems unfair to make the goalies to do that and all that extra gear. Tanner Barnes, best stick handler of the bunch, while Easton Haygarth was the sniper of the lot.
Things like this allows them to see the fun side of the coaches as well as different sides of each of them. So.
Now, this weekend, the Heat will be playing Fort Saskatchewan this Sunday at home. Now, it's almost been 2 months since we've seen the Lakeland Rustlers play at home, but that's all about to change this weekend. All 4 will take court in the border city. Both the women's basketball and volleyball teams are ranked nationally, and the men's program are hunting for playoff spots. With just weeks left in the regular season, Claire Hanna discusses both sides of the coin for all teams.
And I'm joined by Andrew Brethauer, the sport editor for the Lloyd Source, and we are discussing the Rustlers' fate. Let's start with the women's volleyball team, currently ranked #1 in the Alberta North Division, nationally ranked as well. However, sitting in a playoff position, if they want to make it to the national tournament, which is the top 2 teams, they are going to have to beat some of the South teams who are also nationally ranked. Do they have a shot?
They do have a shot, but as I said, they have to eventually cross over. They're dominating the North Division, so eventually it's going to be beating the South. They start with #4 if they make it and stay in the position. Then they got to beat #2. If they get into the final games, they go to nationals. The top 2 teams make it, but it's still some stiff competition. As you said, all ranked teams. It's going to be good volleyball in the South.
And even though they haven't seen these South teams, though, do you think they've got a shot? They're going in a little bit blind.
Everyone's going in blind, though. Even the South teams are coming up and they're blind. So I think everybody's at a disadvantage. We don't really know what they're going to expect coming into the playoffs, and that's the beauty of this year is everyone's like that. No one knows.
Now, men's volleyball team, they're currently 6-8, and they've actually done probably better this season than we expected. They're sitting in 5th. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
They do, but they need a momentum swing. They need to start putting games together. They need to start winning and put on a winning streak. It didn't start very well, losing the first 2 to Keano to start this semester, and they got to start winning. In the next 10 games, they got to be winning 8 games to possibly, I think, to even have a shot at making the playoffs.
Now, we're seeing a lot of mirror images between the basketball and volleyball teams. Let's move to the women's basketball team, also nationally ranked #2 in the ACAC. One of their leading scorers, Camille McClurley, has been out in the first semester. Can they go deep in the playoffs and maybe even make it to the national tournament without her?
They can, but they have to be consistent as a team. If they're not consistent as a team, they're not going to make the playoffs. Or they will make the playoffs, they're just not going to nationals. They have to do better at defense, better at possession, better at capitalizing on their chances, and that's across everybody. That's not just one player. So if everybody can come together over the next 12 weeks, they're sort of going to make the playoffs.
Finally, let's talk about the men's basketball team. Tom Grote talked at the beginning of the season about how this is anybody's conference, yet they're 6-6 and in 4th and have a very unique path ahead, as the next top 3 teams are the teams that they will be playing. Do you think they can win any of these matches and make it to playoffs?
They can win these matches, but they have to actually, again, come together as a team. They're getting everybody back. Everybody's healthy, which they didn't have in the first semester. So now with everybody back, it's a matter of just beating these 3 teams. It's going to be decided in the next 3 weeks whether or not they're going to playoffs or not. Keano's right below them in 5th. They're hosting. They automatically get in. So their fate's in their own hands if they want to make it to playoffs and go to nationals.
Sounds like we need a lot of wrestlers to get healthy or stay healthy. Thank you so much for joining me, Andrew. That's all.
Thanks a lot, Claire and Andrew. We'll go to the AJHL real quick. The Bonnyville Pontiacs drop a 4-2 decision on the road to Whitecourt. Braden Doucette had a goal and an assist, while Bobby McMahon added another goal for the Pontiacs. Next tilt for the Yaks will be this Saturday at home against the Fort Mac Oil Barons. Some of the best CrossFit athletes in Western Canada will make their way to Lloydminster for the Battle of the Border.
CrossFit Games is getting huge, and you see it on ESPN and TSN, and we have a couple of those athletes who competed down in Carson, and some great Canada West competitors too in our pro division, and they're going to be competing here in Lloydminster.
The third annual event will see CrossFitters participate in the Pro, RX, and Scale divisions. From its humble beginnings at Cujo Conditioning, the event is now held at the Service Sports Center to accommodate the number of athletes.
110 athletes to 400 athletes, coming from all over Canada, Manitoba, over in BC, up in the Northwest Territories. So it's definitely great to see.
The Battle of the Border gets underway tomorrow with the championship events going on Sunday. Now, yesterday we told you about a local curler, Scott Manners, and his run for a provincial berth at Northerns, but he's not the only one from the area looking to do the same. Now, skip Jamie King, who hails from St. Albert, will have Lloydminster's Warren Hassall as his second. The two have curled on and off for nearly 20 years, going to 2 provincial finals. The team has had great success this season, and Hassall says there's no shortage of confidence.
Playing really well. We've qualified at everything that we went to this year, so we would be disappointing if we didn't. So we fully expect to keep continuing to play well and to qualify and get to provincials. And once you're at provincials, then anything can happen.
The Northern Playdowns will get underway tonight. Hassall and Team King will face Andrew Dunbar in the A event starting at 7 o'clock. Now, moving on. On any given day, it's likely you'll catch the Bobcats practicing at the Civic Center, but yesterday, a local Atom hockey team was given special treatment as the Bobcat coaches and select players gave the 10-year-olds a typical Junior A-style hockey practice. Over 50 teams entered the Home Depot on the bench coaching contest, but the Lloydminster Sears Carpet Cleaners team was drawn as the winner.
The kids were so excited in the dressing room. I think every one of them was fully dressed and ready to go 20 minutes before we were going to go on the ice. I think when you're on the ice with players like that and you see what they do and you see the speed, the size, and the skill that they have, I think that motivates people. I can say even from being on the ice today, I saw some of our kids work harder and I saw them do some things that they normally wouldn't do in just our normal team practice.
And Rylan, the player that has convinced his parents to enter his team in the contest, shared some of the tips he learned.
You have to focus when you're skating backwards. It's harder than it is when you're skating forwards.
And his biggest goal in hockey?
Just being good with my teammates and working with them all.